everyone. Familiar faces, and well, we see 2 weeks ago also. Yes, thanks to VFES, I have the chance to be here and share with you what I have learned about the 3 psychological influences behind our thoughts and actions. But first, before we begin, I need you to do me a favor, yes? Yeah. I need your help so that we can build a common ground to perceive the idea. First, may I ask where you're from? Finland?
Lithuania.
Oh, Lithuania, great. You're not from Finland, that's great, because now I would like to ask you all. That's great, now you know why. Now I need you to help me. First, close your eyes. And then think about the first moment, your arrival in Finland. Think about your arrival in Finland. Now, watch your feeling. Listen to your heart. How do you feel? Alright, now you can open your eyes. Yes, yes, thank you. So it was a little surge of joyful, right? Because it was a moment, a changing moment in your life, right? It was a little surge of joyfulness, a little surge of satisfaction. Am I right?
Hopeful.
Hopefully? No? Somebody's shaking their heads, disagreeing? No? Well, the following presentation I have contains questions that I have been asking myself concerning my own decision making. Why did I come to Finland? Why did I decide to join this community, Success Club? And especially, why success? Why not, right? Why not? Success. So, first of all, I hope that we can agree success is something like a satisfaction. It's a feeling. It's like any other human desires that we all share. It's like to eat, to sleep, to be involved in a community like this, or to be in a relationship, yeah? So that's what I want to have a common ground on that about success. And what is behind, or what are behind success? The success that you want so bad. Those are, and according to Freud, we have three psychological influences behind our success, behind our desires. So the first one is ID. Pardon my drawing. The second one is ego.
Perfect.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and the third one is that grumpy old man. Oh, it should be grumpy. The grumpy old man in the trailer. So this is the ID, ego, and superego. So in order to simplify these things, Jonathan Haidt, in his book called Happiness Hypothesis, he provided us such a helpful metaphor. The ID, or he called it the id. He calls the ID is a horse. Or please imagine this is a horse. And the ego is the horse rider, of course, according to this. And the super ego there is the old man in the trailer that the horse and the ego is dragging along. And this is our mind on the road from B to D. From the moment when we are born to we die, of course. So that's our mind. What's up with the horse? Freud explained that the horse or the id represent for our instinct, for the crave of satisfactions. When we are hungry, we seek food. When we are cold, we seek blanket. When we need someone, we seek a friend. We seek a community. So that's the horse. And of course, it's really normal to crave for satisfaction. However, the horse wants it so bad that the horse wants the satisfaction right away, right now, right here. That's when the ego comes in. Maybe you can guess why the horse rider is there. The ego is there. So I have said that it is okay, it is normal to crave for satisfaction. But then at what cost? Can you recall 5 hours ago when you decided to have lunch in Helsinki? Like in the middle of the day of your work, you were hungry. You wanted to eat. But what would you eat? How much you were willing to pay for the food? Or then, let's make another example. I hope that everyone here have tried to go to gym, right? Maybe. Not everyone, but well.
Let's try.
Okay. If you have tried ever to go to the gym, then maybe you can relate to this. So the horse or your id, there are days that the horse wants to have a rest. There are days that the horse wants a cheating meal. And that's when the ego comes in and say, no, you cannot. Let's go to the gym. Let's rationalize. Let's give reason behind it. You have to go to the gym, right? And the ego successfully persuades the horse to go right back to track. Successfully. Sometimes. And at those times, when your ego could persuade the horse to go back to track, it gives you some kind of pleasure also, some kind of satisfaction, which is called ego boost. And it is also called confidence. But how about the times that your ego loses to the horse? Do you remember the moments that you beat yourself up with, I should have done this, I should have done that, I could have done this, I could have done that? That is the superego nagging at your ego, that grumpy old man back there, nagging at the horse rider. It's like, I should have learned more at school, I could have tried harder at work, I should have called my parents more frequently. Those kind of things. So what is the superego? The superego is there to make sure that your ego reach a certain standards. The ego cannot do anything on its own will. And you got this superego since you were 3 to 5 years old. You have learned these standards from your parents, from the community you are in, for example, religion, from the social norms, from the society that you were raised up. The superego is that self-critical conscience in you that beats you up for a better solution whenever you make a decision. So, we have now briefly known that it is very okay to crave for attentions, to crave for satisfactions. But at what cost is decided by the ego, by the horse rider. And whatever, and no matter what cost you have paid, there's always a better cost, there's always a better solution, there's always a less effort solution which produce more and more efficiency that your superego can think of. Because always your superego set the bar so high so that your ego has to reach that standard bar to get the satisfaction. So now comes the ultimate question. Why all of this? What's the point of the whole thing I'm talking about? Oh, Hannah is not here. But, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
If you were here 2 weeks ago, you may recall to Hannah's presentation, right?
Yeah.
She mentioned something like quarter-life crisis.
Yeah.
I was lost.
Yeah, I gone through it couple of months ago during the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gave me the idea for this presentation. My question is, when she said I was lost, then what was lost? What exactly was lost? She was still there, but she said I was lost. So maybe the first thing was lost is the control of her ego. And the second thing was lost, maybe, was the certain set of value that the superego tried to provide to the ego. In another way, let's talk about crisis first. When we were 15 years old, we all were all 15 years old, we have a thing called teenage crisis. Life was so beautiful, but yet terrifying. The horse was at its full power, and we want to act on our own wills. We want independence. We don't want to follow parents anymore, parents' guidance anymore. Boys want that girl, and girls want that boys, and the horse just becomes so powerful. And then comes quarter-life crisis when we are about 20 to 25 years old. That's when we start to live our independent life. We graduated, live our independent life, and reality hits us in the face. It forces us to push our ego. It forces our ego to actually control the horse. And then come 30 years old, we have something called third life crisis. 40 and 50, we have something called half-life crisis. And if you are over 50 years old, you are so happy to experience 60-year-old crisis and 70-year-old crisis. All you thought about when after 50 years old, you only think about like, am I going to live for 10 more years to experience any more crisis? You'll be so happy for the crisis. So, there are two types of crises, in my opinion. The first one is like that teenage crisis, like that quarter-life crisis, third-life crisis. Those are the moment of your life, the crisis moment when the ego, the superego, and the horse fighting with each other, try to take control over the whole mind. Because this is our mind. They are in the same roof. They are under the same roof. And they are trying to take control of it. So, certain stages of your life, there are conflicts inside you, the intrinsic conflicts. Makes you feel like, I'm lost. I'm lost control over the horse. I don't know what satisfies me anymore. I don't know what should I do to reach that standard that I expect so bad out of myself. Well, that's not so bad. It's normal for everyone. Everyone will experience it somehow. But the second kind of crisis is way worse than that. So when I mentioned the first one is happening in certain stages of your life, the second crisis is more like a strategical crisis, a strategical problem that you have set the wrong set of value. You have lost already from the beginning point. When you think that, oh, I will be a successful man because success is power, success is money, success is girls, success is sex, success is satisfactions. So it's already a strategical, it's the whole road, it's the strategical mistake. You were lost, your reason was lost already from the beginning. So now, we have known the 3 influences behind our thoughts, actions, and desires. My presentation is about asking why success. So, is it your ego wanting the success so bad, or super ego, or your ID? Which one, which part of it that contributing to the decision that you want success so bad? I have bombarded you with tons of questions. That basically I ask myself, and now it's your turn. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Tuan. So after his speech, we will have 10 minutes more to discussion. So if anybody has some questions for him, please raise your voice.
Yes, please.
So back to your own experiences.
Yeah.
So whenever that you have some conflicts inside it, when the ego and the super ego must fight each other. So what were your own solutions?
The first thing is, the only things I have been trying to do is to be honest with myself. You can always lie to everybody, but if you lie to yourself that, oh, it's not my ego, it's like, oh, it's not my horse wanting it. Like, I'm not doing this for attention, I'm not doing this for money, I'm not doing this for that. I'm a moral guy or something. So be honest, it was my experience. So when I made a mistake, I said, oh, okay, yes, I'm a douche. So what? What's the past?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Can you share that very one time where you were actually in a crisis and you deal with it?
Okay, that's a great question. That's actually that one time that forced me to learn about this. After I graduated from my first bachelor, I could not find a job. I stick myself to a warehouse job for 3 years in a night warehouse. So basically 3 years in a row, every night I go to work, and every day I go back to sleep. I went back to sleep. I got something called burnt out. So burnt out is like, it's just a disease like everything else, you know, like when you are sick, you don't want to eat, or anything you eat, it doesn't taste good anymore. It's just the same kind of food, but it doesn't taste good anymore. So I got burnt out. I was asking myself, like, what is the reason? Like, I was talking to my girlfriend back then, and like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to live for. Like, there are so many. It's messed up in my head. It's the start of the suicidal thoughts. The beginning of the suicidal thoughts. Because the horse was lost. I was so tired. Nothing satisfied me. Nothing. Food, sex, nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the beginning of the suicidal thoughts. When you don't crave for any satisfaction anymore. So I took a break. I listened to my friend's advice. I took a break from work. Reading, lots of reading. Like the things that people say called self-help. So then I come up to these kind of ideas when I listened to Hannah's presentation last week. So
Great, thanks.
thanks.
Can I ask, when you feel during your burnout, like
Pardon me.